In today's episode, we have the pros, the cons, and the pink pearls. Roll the intro. Welcome to this episode. I'm Christopher Sammout. Up until and including now, I have been using the Sony RX100 Mark IV for all my videos. This will change today. Before we start, let's get the legal stuff out of the way. This video is not sponsored. All the items were purchased from my own money, and this brings us to my purse. And no, it is not my daughter's. I'm pretty sure hers is pretty much full. Even though the RX100 was a fair way to start, the limitations became apparent and a bottleneck to my workflow. So, here I am today, introducing my new setup. And presenting this setup, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 4K, all snugly mounted in the Tilta cage, perfectly balanced on the DJI RS2 with a combo. And the eye of Ra himself, using nothing less than the lunar technology, 3D focus, and featuring the Cine Primes by Meike. Batteries included. The brief for my setup was to have an easily manageable layout, the ability to use as solo videographer, easily move between gimbal, handheld, tripod, etc., and most of all, affordable. So why did I choose the Pocket 4K as my main camera? Simple. It is not a new release, so all issues are known and no surprises when it comes to that. The image quality and color science are exceptional, especially now that the Gen 5 has released with version 7.3. The price point at €1,200 makes the camera worth all of that and more. When it came to choosing a gimbal, I opted for the RS2 with the combo. This would easily hold my rig setup, and I am a fan of DJI. I particularly like the Raven Eye, and the ability to pull focus and move the camera wirelessly is fantastic for a solo filmmaker. The pity is that with Raven Eye you can only have one mobile display at a time, which is very annoying. I hope DJI does something about this, as it limits the flexibility to a close to perfect solution. The 3D focus using the lunar technology solves the need for the autofocus, which the Pocket 4K is not renowned for, and also provides autofocus to practically any lens setup. And this brings us to the lenses I chose. This was my favorite purchase and also the first item that arrived. When I was looking for Cine Primes, I wasn't interested in autofocus, which I addressed with the 3D focus, or zoom. I wanted a real deal, fully manual lens that's specifically designed for filmmaking. The Meike lenses fit all my needs. The image feels very cinematic, kind of like vintage lenses. No focus breathing, which is probably the most important thing for me. The build quality is exceptional, and the iris and focus wheels are smooth and accurate. And if you add good price to the mix, then the choice for these lenses is an absolute no-brainer. There are two things that bother me just a little. Number one, the lens cap. It would be nice to get a proper lens cap for these lenses. And the fact that the markings are not engraved, which is a pity, but again, these flaws are so minor compared to the rest of the pros that it still makes it a no-brainer. These lenses are matched, so it makes it easier to swap lenses. I opted for the 12 and 25 to start off my kit. These would equate to 24 and 50 respectively when calculated with the Micro Four Thirds sensor of the 4K. Since my budget was shrinking with every one of my purchases, I ended up not much left for a VND. I came across this filter from Oort, previously known as Gope. They have rebranded together with an upgrade to the build and class quality. They come in a pretty sweet metal box, feels solidly built. This particular one is a VND7. So it gives you a 9-stop control over light, more or less. The stops are hard stops, so it's got the doesn't go infinitely, which is nice. I can't compare it to other filters because, well, I have no budget for other filters. Yes, true, it would have been nice to get a Polar Pro, but that would have cost me 4-5 times as much. The downside to all this is it's heavy. Then I have a few more accessories and other rigging from Tilta, Small Rig. You can find a full list in the description below. Most of these are in preparation for a handheld rig, which I haven't yet fully built out. And there goes the introduction to my setup. If you wish for me to elaborate on specific items, please leave a comment and I will do so in a separate video. To test out the gear in its full potential, I will be releasing a short film, which will be called First Light. And it's about a man who is bound to relive his life between 3 a.m. and dawn. So, stay tuned, subscribe, please, and hit the notification button. And if you like this video, then I would appreciate a thumbs up. And if you didn't, he froze again. What shall I do with him? Recycle? Okay.